Hey everyone, Sebastian here, back again with another question from Bluebook Test 1, Reading and Writing Module 1. This time we have question 9 here. This is our first command of evidence question. I think these are some of the toughest questions in the reading and writing section, some of the toughest questions overall on the SAT, but also some of the best ones to really, focus on and learn the technique for. And I think it actually is a useful skill to be able to understand how to work through these, right? So these types of questions, you have two types. There's like the text-based ones like this one, and then there's ones where there's graphs that you have to read and interpret. And in the text-based ones, you're looking for facts or arguments that support or counteract or undermine the argument in the passage. So let's give this one a shot and see how it goes. Black beans, Phaseolus vulgaris, are a nutritionally dense food, but they are difficult to digest in parts because of their high levels of soluble fiber and compounds like raffinose. They also contain anti-nutrients like tannins and trypsin inhibitors, which interfere with the body's ability to extract nutrients from foods. In a research article, Maricelo Granito and Glenda Alvarez from Simon Bolivar University in Venezuela claim that inducing fermentation of black beans using lactic acid bacteria improves the digestibility of the beans and makes them more nutritious. Which finding from Granito and Alvarez's research, if true, would most directly support their claim? So we have A, when cooked, fermented beans contain significantly more trypsin inhibitors and tannins, but significantly less soluble fiber and raffinose than non-fermented beans. B, fermented beans contain significantly less soluble fiber and raffinose than non-fermented beans, and when cooked, the fermented beans also displayed a significant reduction in trypsin inhibitors and tannins. C, when the fermented beans were analyzed, they were found to contain two microorganisms, Lactobacillus casei and Lactobacillus plantarum, that are theorized to increase the amount of nitrogen absorbed by the gut after eating beans. And D, both fermented and non-fermented black beans contain significantly fewer trypsin inhibitors and tannins after being cooked at high pressure. Okay, so now we've seen all the info. Let's think about what we don't need, right? We don't need the scientific name for black beans. Who cares about that? If it came up again, right, we'd have to be like, oh, black beans, but it doesn't. The names here don't really matter to us either, so we don't have to focus on that. Right? Just because you don't know something doesn't mean you can't answer the question. So we want to focus on what their claim is, right? Because how are we going to support their claim? How do we know what supports their claim if we don't know what the claim is? And here it's nice that it even says the word claim and says, they claim that inducing fermentation of black beans using lactic acid improves the digestibility of beans and makes them more nutritious. So which finding, right, supports that, right? So they're using lactic acid bacteria, improves the digestibility. Okay, so when cooked, fermented beans contain significantly more trypsin inhibitors and tannins, but significantly less soluble fiber and raffinose than non-fermented beans. So what do these things do? The trypsin inhibitors and tannins are anti-nutrients, which wouldn't help with the digestion, right? And then the soluble fiber and raffinose are high levels. They make them difficult to digest as well. So that doesn't really help either. So maybe if it had less soluble fiber and raffinose, that would help, but the other part doesn't help. So A is not great. Fermented beans contain significantly less soluble fiber and raffinose than non-fermented beans, and when cooked, the fermented beans also displayed a significant reduction in trypsin inhibitors and tannins. Okay, so to have less soluble fiber and raffinose, right? They say that makes it difficult to digest. So if we have less of that, that should be easier to digest. And then it says the fermented beans also displayed a significant reduction in trypsin inhibitors and tannins. And those are the anti-nutrients, right? Which interfere with the body's ability to extract nutrients from foods. So that's looking like a good option because by decreasing all four of those things, right, we're making it easier to digest and easier for us to get nutrients. So I'm going to keep B as an option. I'll put a little plus here because I'm feeling good about it. When the fermented beans were analyzed, they were found to contain two microorganisms that are theorized to increase the amount of nitrogen absorbed by the gut after eating beans. There's no talk about how nitrogen helps or doesn't help with digestion, so this one's irrelevant. I'm going to eliminate it because B is clearly better than that one. And then D. Both fermented and non-fermented black beans contain significantly fewer trypsin inhibitors and tannins after being cooked. So there they're talking about how there are fewer trypsin inhibitors and tannins after being cooked, so that would help with digestion. But that's for both fermented and non-fermented, and we want to be contrasting the two of them, so we want to separate them. So this is just focused on cooked at high pressure. So D is not as good as B, and B has won the battle here. It has won, and it is the victor, and it is the right answer. So again, you focus on what you know, you focus on the claim, which usually comes at the end of the passage, and then you try to find the relationship between each answer choice and that claim, whether it helps, hurts, or is irrelevant. And honestly, the first one, A, whichever one you go with first, you want to really break down to understand, like, what do these terms mean and how do they connect, right? So what is a trypsin inhibitor and tannins, and how does it connect to digestion? Or does it not connect, right? And then once we did that, we got B. So this is all about how evidence connects with claims, right? Which is a big thing you want to be able to do, because that's how you know if a hypothesis is good or not, or if you can prove a thesis or something. So I hope this question helped. This is a hard question for sure, but you focus on what you know. You don't focus on irrelevant things, right? Like Maricela Granito, their names don't matter. Simon Bolivar University didn't matter here. And that really narrows it down and lets you focus on just the important parts. So I'll talk to you all soon, and I hope it is sunny where you are. And if it's not, I hope the rain is cleaning your windows and watering your plants. Bye.